This cannot be my child. I said get them away from me. The delivery room went silent. Nurses froze mid-step. The doctor's hand hovered over the scissors meant to cut the umbilical cord. 2 tiny babies. Still wet. Still crying. One in each nurse's arms. And the father standing there like they were bags of trash. Sir, your wife just... I don't care what she just did. His voice cut through the room like glass. Those things are not mine. The woman on the bed couldn't move. Blood still pooling beneath her. Body torn apart from pushing life into the world. She reached out with shaking fingers. Please, they're ours. He turned to look at her. No warmth. No recognition. Just disgust. Look at them. He pointed at the babies. You gave birth to 2 devils. One of the babies had a birthmark across half her face. Dark red. Angry looking. The other had eyes that didn't open right. Swollen. Different. They're cursed, he said. Deformed. Ugly. A nurse gasped. Another looked away. The doctor opened his mouth but no words came. You ruined me. He stepped closer to the bed. 9 months I waited. 9 months I told everyone I was having perfect children. And you give me this. She tried to speak but only sobs came out. He pulled something from his jacket. Divorce papers. Already signed on his side. He dropped them on her stomach. Right where the pain was worst. Sign it. Tonight. And don't follow me. Please don't leave us. Us. He laughed. Cool. Sure. There is no us. There never was. He looked at the babies one last time. His face twisted like he'd tasted poison. Take them away from me. Then he walked out. Door slammed. Footsteps echoing down the hall. Gone. The woman collapsed back into the pillow. Her whole body shaking. The baby still crying. Nurses standing there not knowing what to do. One of them whispered, "Should we call someone?" "Who?" Another replied. "He's the father. He just left." The woman pulled both babies to her chest. Blood and tears mixing together. She kissed their foreheads. Over and over. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry he said those things. You're beautiful. You're perfect. You're mine." But she could barely hold them. Her body giving out. The pain unbearable. And somewhere deep inside she knew, this was only the beginning. Outside the door people had heard everything. Visitors. Staff. Family members in the waiting room. They would talk. They always did. And tomorrow the whole hospital would know what he called his children. Devils. The woman closed her eyes. Held her babies tighter. And prayed someone, anyone, would help them survive what was coming. Because she could feel it. In her bones. In her blood. This wasn't over. Hi, welcome to Love in the Shadow Stories. Thanks for watching. Kindly tell me what country you're watching from and don't forget to subscribe. You ruined my life. He stood at the foot of her hospital bed. Day 2. She hadn't slept. The babies lay beside her in plastic bassinets. Still crying. Still breathing. She thought he came back to apologize. She was wrong. He threw a pen on her lap. It bounced off her thigh and hit the floor. Sign the papers, he said. Now. Her hands were still shaking from labor. Body still broken. Stitches burning with every breath. Please, can we just talk? Talk. He laughed. About what? About how you embarrassed me. About how everyone at my job knows I have deformed kids. She flinched. That word again. Deformed. They're not. Shut up. His voice got louder. A nurse passing by stopped. Watched through the door window. I told my family I was having beautiful children. I posted it online. I bragged to my friends. He leaned closer. She could smell cologne. The same one he wore on their wedding day. And you gave me monsters. Tears poured down her face. She couldn't stop them. Couldn't breathe right. I gave you children. Our children. How can you? They're your children. He jabbed a finger at her chest. Not mine. I don't claim them. I don't want them. And I sure as hell won't pay for them. He picked the pen off the floor. Shoved it into her hand. His grip too tight. Fingers digging into her wrist. Sign. It. She looked at the divorce papers. His signature already there. Bold. Confident. Like he'd been planning this for weeks. If I sign, what happens to us? I don't care what happens to you. He let go of her wrist. Go back to your mother. Go live on the street. Just stay away from me. One of the babies started crying louder. The one with the birthmark. She turned to pick her up, but he grabbed her shoulder. Don't touch them in front of me. Her whole body went cold. They're hungry. Then feed them after I leave. He stepped back. Adjusted his jacket. You have 10 minutes. Sign or I'll make your life worse than it already is. How could it be worse? She whispered. He smiled. Not a kind smile. A cruel one. I know people. I'll make sure no one hires you. No one helps you. You'll lose everything. She looked at her babies. So small. So helpless. Then back at him. This man used to hold her hand. Used to say he loved her. Used to promise forever. Now he was threatening to destroy her. She picked up the pen. Hand trembling. Vision blurry from tears. And she signed. He snatched the papers before the ink dried. Folded them. Slipped them into his jacket. Good. He turned to leave. Stopped at the door. Didn't look back. If you try to contact me, if you tell anyone I'm the father, I'll deny it. And I'll make sure everyone knows you're lying. Then he walked out. This time he didn't slam the door. He closed it softly. Like nothing happened. Like he didn't just destroy 3 lives in under 5 minutes. The woman collapsed forward, clutching her stomach. The baby still crying. Nurses whispering outside. And for the first time since giving birth, she screamed. Not from pain. From something worse. The realization that she was completely alone. Did you see the babies? The voice came from the hallway. Just outside her room. Loud enough to hear. Quiet enough to pretend they didn't mean for her to. She was feeding one of the twins. The girl with the birthmark. Bottle pressed to tiny lips. Her hand still shaking. I heard they're hideous. Another voice. Female. Younger. Probably a nurse. Laughter followed. Soft. Mocking. The woman's chest tightened. She looked at the door. It was cracked open. Just enough to see shadows moving. Her husband left her, right? Yeah. Walked out the same day. Can you blame him? More laughter. She wanted to scream. Wanted to throw something. But she couldn't move. Couldn't speak. Just sat there. Frozen. I saw one of them earlier. A third voice now. The birthmark is huge. Covers half the face. Oh God, really? Yeah. And the other one? Something's wrong with the eyes. They don't open right. That's so sad. But they didn't sound sad. They sounded entertained. One of them pulled out a phone. She could hear the camera click. What? Twice. Wait, are you seriously taking pictures? Why not? This is insane. My group chat is gonna freak out. The woman's breath caught. Her hands went numb. The bottle slipped. Milk spilled on the blanket. They were taking pictures. Of her babies. Send it to me. Already did. Oh my God, look at that. That's wild. They laughed again. Harder this time. She wanted to stand. Wanted to storm to the door and scream at them. But her body wouldn't move. Still too weak. Still too broken. The baby in her arms started crying. Loud. Sure. Like she could feel her mother's pain. Ugh, it's crying again. Those kids are gonna have a rough life. Yeah. Poor things. But honestly, maybe it's better if they don't make it. Silence. Then someone gasped. That's messed up. I'm just saying. Look at them. Look at their situation. No father. No money. A mother who can barely stand. What kind of life is that? Footsteps. Moving away now. Voices fading. But the damage was done. The woman pulled both babies close. Tears pouring down her face. She kissed their heads. Over and over. Don't listen to them, she whispered. You're perfect. You're wanted. You're loved. But even as she said it, she felt the weight crushing her chest. Because they were right about one thing. She had no money. No job. No husband. No family nearby. How was she going to feed them? Protect them? Keep them safe? Her phone buzzed. She looked at the screen. A message from an unknown number. She opened it. It was a photo of her in the hospital bed, holding the babies, eyes red from crying. Below the photo, a caption. "This is what happens when you have cursed kids. Even your husband runs." Her stomach dropped. Someone had posted it online. Strangers were seeing her pain, judging her, laughing at her children. She turned the phone off, threw it across the room. It hit the wall and cracked. But it didn't matter. The damage was already spreading. And tomorrow more people would see. More people would laugh. More people would call her babies devils. She held them tighter, rocked them back and forth, and prayed for a miracle. Because without one, she didn't know how they'd survive the week. Who let him in? A nurse whispered it. Sure. Panicked. The woman looked up from her hospital bed. She was trying to change one of the babies. Hands still clumsy. Still learning. Heavy footsteps echoed down the hallway. Slow. Deliberate. Like whoever it was had all the time in the world. The door swung open. A man stepped inside. Tall. Broad shoulders. Long black coat that touched his knees. Tattoos crawled up his neck. Dragons. Symbols she didn't recognize. His face was calm. Too calm. Behind him, two other men. Suits. Sunglasses. Arms crossed. The nurses in the hallway scattered. One dropped her clipboard. Another pressed herself against the wall. The woman clutched her baby tighter. Heart hammering. Who are you? Her voice barely came out. The man didn't answer. He walked to the end of her bed. Looked at her. Then at the babies. His eyes were dark. Unreadable. She wanted to scream. Wanted to run. But there was nowhere to go. Please, don't hurt them. Tears already forming. They didn't do anything wrong. He tilted his head. Still silent. One of the men behind him stepped forward. Whispered something in his ear. The tattooed man nodded once. Then he finally spoke. Where is the father? His voice was low. Steady. The kind of voice that made people obey without question. He left. She could barely breathe. He's gone. I don't know where. The man's jaw tightened. Just slightly. Enough to notice. When? 2 days ago. Right after they were born. He looked at the babies again. One had the birthmark. The other had the swollen eyes. Both sleeping now. Unaware of the danger in the room. And the staff. He glanced toward the hallway. They mock you. It wasn't a question. She nodded. Too scared to lie. They took pictures, she whispered, of my babies. Posted them online. His expression didn't change. But something shifted in the air. Something cold. He turned to one of his men. Said something in another language. Korean maybe. She wasn't sure. The man nodded and walked out. The woman's hands trembled. Please? I don't have money. I don't have anything. If someone sent you to hurt us. No one sent me. He moved closer. She flinched. But he didn't touch her. Didn't raise his voice. I came because I heard what happened. How? How did you hear? He didn't answer that. Instead, he looked at her with something she hadn't seen in days. Not disgust. Not pity. Something else. You will leave this hospital today, he said. My men will handle everything. The bills. The paperwork. The people who laughed. Her breath caught. I don't understand. You don't need to. He reached into his coat. She tensed. But he pulled out a card. Plain. White. Just a phone number. If anyone tries to hurt you or your children, you call this number. She stared at the card. Then at him. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me. For the first time his expression softened. Just a fraction. I know enough. He turned to leave. Stopped at the door. Your ex-husband. His voice dropped. Colder now. He will regret what he did. Then he walked out. His men followed. The door closed. The woman sat there. Frozen. Card still in her hand. Outside she heard commotion. Raised voices. Someone begging. Then silence. 10 minutes later a nurse came in. Different one. Older. Face pale. Ma'am, your bill has been paid. In full. And you're being moved. To a private room. With security. The woman looked at her babies. Still sleeping. Still safe. Who was that man? She whispered. The nurse swallowed hard. Someone you don't ask questions about. Touch them again and you die. The tattooed man stood in the private room. The woman had been moved hours ago. Better bed. Cleaner walls. No noise from the hallway. But now her ex-husband was there. He'd somehow found out about the move. Barged in. Face red. Fists clenched. Who the hell do you think you are? He shouted at the tattooed man. Those are my kids. My wife. The woman sat up in bed. Holding both babies. Heart racing. You left us, she said. Voice shaking. You called them devils. I was angry. He didn't even look at her. Eyes locked on the tattooed man. But they're still mine. Blood is blood. The tattooed man didn't move. Didn't blink. You signed papers, he said calmly. You walked away. They are not yours anymore. I'll take you to court. I'll prove I'm the father. You can't just. I can. 2 words. But the way he said them made the ex-husband step back. The tattooed man moved forward. Slow. Steady. You rejected them when they were born. Called them cursed. Made their mother sign papers while she bled. You are not a father. You are a coward. The ex-husband's jaw tightened. You don't know anything about me. I know enough. The tattooed man stopped inches from his face. I know you told people they were deformed. I know you let nurses take pictures. I know you posted lies online. The woman gasped. She didn't know he knew all that. That's not illegal, the ex-husband stammered. No. But what I do to people like you is. Silence. Heavy. Thick. The ex-husband's confidence cracked. He glanced at the door. The 2 suited men stood there. Blocking it. You can't threaten me. I'm not threatening. The tattooed man's voice dropped lower. I am telling you what happens next. You will leave this hospital. You will never contact this woman again. You will never speak about these children. And if I hear your name near them. He leaned closer. Whispered something the woman couldn't hear. The ex-husband went pale. Completely white. He stumbled backward. Nearly tripped over his own feet. You're insane, he muttered. But his voice shook. Maybe. The tattooed man straightened his coat. But I keep my promises. The ex-husband looked at the woman one last time. No apology. No remorse. Just fear. Then he ran. Pushed past the suited men. Footsteps echoing down the hall. Gone. The woman exhaled. She didn't realize she'd been holding her breath. The tattooed man turned to her. His face softened again. Just slightly. He will not return. How do you know? Because I made sure he understands what happens if he does. She looked down at her babies. Still sleeping. Still safe. Why are you doing this? Tears filled her eyes. You don't owe me anything. You don't even know me. He walked to the window. Looked out at the city. I know what it is like to be thrown away, he said quietly. I know what it is like to be called a devil. She stared at him. This dangerous man with tattoos and guards. This man who made her ex-husband run like a scared child. What happens now? She asked. He turned back to her. Now you heal. You rest. And when you are ready, you leave this place. And go where? With me. Her heart stopped. I will give you a home. Safety. Everything you need to raise them. Why would you? Because they deserve better than this. He looked at the babies. And so do you. She wanted to ask more. Wanted to understand. But something in his eyes told her not to push. What do I call you? She whispered. He was silent for a moment. Call me what everyone else does. He moved toward the door. Sir. Then he left. The suited men followed. And the woman sat there. Holding her babies. Knowing her life just changed forever. Blood doesn't make a father. 5 years had passed. The woman stood in the kitchen of a house she never thought she'd live in. Marble counters. Large windows. A garden outside where the twins played. She could hear their laughter. High-pitched. Innocent. Free. The man who saved them, the one everyone called Sir, sat at the dining table. Reading a newspaper. Coffee steaming beside him. He'd kept his promise. given them everything. A home, safety, money for food and clothes and toys. But he never asked for anything back. They're getting fast, she said, watching the twins chase each other. I can barely keep up. He looked up from the paper. Almost smiled. Almost. They are strong, he said. Like their mother. She blushed. Even after 5 years, compliments from him felt rare. Precious. I don't know what we would have done without you. He folded the newspaper. Walk to the window. You would have survived, he said. You are stronger than you think. But she knew the truth. Without him, they'd be on the streets. Or worse. The twins ran to the back door. Burst inside. Faces red from running. The girl with the birthmark, Sienna, had dirt on her knees. The other girl, Kira, had leaves in her hair. Uncle. Sienna shouted. She always called him that. Kira pushed me in the mud. You pushed me first. Kira shot back. The woman started to step forward, but he raised a hand. Gentle. Come. He knelt down. I level with them. Did you push her, Kira? Kira looked at the floor. Nodded. Why? Because she said I couldn't climb the tree. And did you prove her wrong? Kira's eyes lit up. Yes. I climbed all the way to the top. He nodded. Good. But next time use your words first. Then your strength. Yes, uncle. He turned to Sienna. And you? Did you say she couldn't do it? Sienna squirmed. Maybe. Why? Because I didn't want her to get hurt. His expression softened. That is kind. But do not limit people because you are afraid. Let them try. Let them fall. That is how they learn. Sienna nodded slowly. Okay, uncle. Now go clean up. Both of you. They ran off. Giggling again. Fight already forgotten. The woman watched him stand. Dust off his knees. You're good with them, she said quietly. I try. They love you. He didn't respond. Just stared out the window again. Do you ever think about telling them? She asked. About their real father? His jaw tightened. Just slightly. He is not their father. But biology means nothing. His voice was firm. Not angry. Just certain. I have fed them. Taught them. Protected them. I have lost men keeping them safe from people who wanted to hurt them because of who I am. She froze. What do you mean, lost men? He turned to her. Eyes hard. There are people in this world who hate me. Who want to destroy everything I care about. 3 times they tried to reach you. Reach the girls. Her blood went cold. I didn't know. You were not supposed to. He walked past her. Paused at the doorway. I made sure you never had to. Why? Her voice cracked. Why do all this? Why risk so much? He was quiet for a long moment. Because no child should be called a devil for how they were born. Then he left the room. The woman stood there. Tears sliding down her face. She'd always wondered why he helped. Why he stayed. Now she understood. He wasn't just protecting them. He was rewriting his own story. Through them. Those kids, they belonged to him. 15 years later. The twins were 20 now. No longer children. No longer weak. Sienna walked through the university campus like she owned it. Birthmark still there. Darker now. But she wore it like armor. People stared. They always did. But no one laughed anymore. Is that her? A student whispered to his friend. Yeah. That's Sienna. The one whose uncle runs half the city? Not just half. More like all of it. They watched her pass. Heads down. Eyes averted. She didn't even glance at them. Across town, Kira sat in a boardroom. 23 men in suits. All older. All richer. All staring at her like she didn't belong. You're telling us a 20-year-old is taking over this account? One of them said, smirking. Kira leaned back in her chair. Come. Confident. I'm telling you that if you don't sign by 5 p.m., my uncle pulls every investment he has in your company. The smirk disappeared. That's over $50 million. 53, she corrected. And I'm not asking. I'm telling. Silence. One of the men cleared his throat. We'll sign. Good. She stood. straightened her blazer. Send the paperwork to my office. She walked out, heels clicking on marble floors. Behind her, the men exhaled. One of them muttered, "She's just like him." Back at the house, the woman, now in her 40s, sat with the man who saved them. He looked older too. Gray streaks in his hair. Lines around his eyes. But still strong. Still steady. "They've grown into something incredible," she said softly. He nodded, watching the news on his tablet. A headline flashed. Local businesswoman Kira closes major deal at 20. Below it, another. Sienna accepted into top law program, full scholarship. "They are better than I ever was," he said quietly. "You gave them everything." "No." He set the tablet down. Looked at her. "You did. You chose to fight for them when the world said to give up." She reached across the table. Took his hand. "We both did." For a moment they sat in silence. Years of struggle. Years of fear. Years of watching two rejected babies become unstoppable women. Then his phone rang. He glanced at the screen. His expression changed. Hardened. "What is it?" she asked. He didn't answer. Just stood. Walked to the other room. She heard his voice. "Oh, dangerous. I told you to never contact me again." Pause. "I don't care what you want." Another pause. Longer this time. "If you come near them, I will end you." He hung up. When he came back, his face was stone. "What happened?" she asked. Heart already racing. "He called." She didn't need to ask who. She knew. What did he want? The man sat down slowly. Hands folded. Jaw tight. "He wants to see them." Her stomach dropped. After all these years? He saw the articles. Saw what they became. His voice was ice. Now he wants to claim them. He can't. She stood. Panic rising. He gave them up. He called them devils. He has no right. "I know." "Then why did he even call?" The man looked at her. Ice cold. Calculating. "Because he thinks blood matters more than sacrifice." She felt tears building. "What do we do?" He stood. Walked to the window. Looked out at the city he controlled. "We do nothing." "Nothing?" "He will come. Men like him always do." He turned to her. "But when he does, he will learn what it means to face someone who actually raised them." She wanted to believe him. Wanted to feel safe. But deep down she knew. The war was starting. And this time the twins would be caught in the middle. "I want my children." He stood at the front gate. Designer suit. Expensive watch. Hair slicked back. Confidence oozing from every pore. The same man who walked away 20 years ago. The guards blocked him. 2 on each side. Arms crossed. "Sir doesn't take walk-ins," one of them said. "I'm not a walk-in." He smiled. Cold. Practiced. "I'm their father." Inside the house, the woman heard the commotion. She ran to the window. Looked out. Her blood turned to ice. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." The man who raised them appeared beside her. Face calm. But his hands were fists. "Stay inside," he said. "You can't let him in." "I'm not." He walked toward the door. "But I will talk to him." Outside, the ex-husband saw him coming. His smile widened. There he is. The great protector. He spread his arms. "We finally meet face to face." The man who raised them stopped 10 feet away. Guards flanking him. "You have 30 seconds. Then you leave." 30 seconds? The ex-husband laughed. "I think I deserve more than that. Considering you've been raising my daughters for 20 years. They are not yours." "Oh, but they are." He pulled out a folder. Papers inside. "I have DNA tests. Birth certificates. Legal documents. I am their biological father. That's a fact. Biology does not make you a father." "Maybe not. But it gives me rights." He stepped closer. Guards tensed. "I've done my research. I know the law. I can file for custody. For visitation. For child support you've been stealing from me." The man who raised them didn't flinch. "You rejected them. You called them devils. You made their mother sign papers while she bled. I was young. I was stupid. The ex-husband shrugged. People change. You have not changed. You have just realized what they became. Silence. The ex-husband's smile faded. Just slightly. I saw the articles. I saw their pictures. They're successful. Beautiful. Powerful. He leaned in. And I want them back. They are not objects. No. They're my blood. His voice hardened. And blood always comes back. That's how the world works. The man who raised them stepped forward. The guards moved with him. You want them because they are successful. Because being their father now benefits you. You do not care about them. You care about what they can give you. So what if I do? The ex-husband's mask slipped. I'm their father. I have rights. And there's nothing you can do to stop me from claiming them. If you try. What? You'll threaten me? You'll hurt me? He laughed. I'm not the scared kid from 20 years ago. I have lawyers now. Money. Connections. You touch me and I'll have you arrested. The man who raised them went quiet. Too quiet. You will regret this, he said softly. I don't think so. The ex-husband turned to leave. Stopped. Look back. Oh, and one more thing. I'm going to tell them the truth. About who I am. About how you've been lying to them their whole lives. The woman gasped from the window. They don't know. The ex-husband's grin returned. Oh, this is perfect. When they find out you've been hiding their real father from them, they'll hate you. He walked away, laughing, confident. The man who raised them stood there, watching him go. The woman ran outside, tears streaming. What do we do? She cried. If he tells them, then we tell them first. But what if they choose him? He looked at her, pain flickering in his eyes. Just for a second. Then I let them go. Leave them, or I destroy you. The ex-husband sat in his office. Top floor. Glass walls. City view. Everything he thought he deserved. His phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Hello. Heavy breathing on the other end. Then a voice. Cole. Come. You made a mistake. The ex-husband froze. He recognized that voice. How did you get this number? I own half the people in this city, the man who raised them said. Getting your number was easy. Is this a threat? No. This is a warning. The ex-husband stood, paced to the window, tried to sound confident. I told you. I have lawyers. You can't touch me. Your lawyers cannot protect you from what I know. Silence. What are you talking about? I know about the company you bankrupted 5 years ago. The one you stole money from before it collapsed. The ex-husband's heart skipped. That was investigated. I was cleared. Because you paid people to bury the evidence. I found it. Sweat formed on his forehead. You're bluffing. I have documents. Transfers. Emails. All of it. The voice stayed level. Deadly. One phone call and your entire life crumbles. The ex-husband gripped the phone tighter. You wouldn't? Would take you down too. You're not exactly clean. I have spent 20 years building walls around myself. You have spent 20 years pretending to be someone you are not. Pause. We are not the same. The ex-husband's hand shook. What do you want? Walk away. Disappear. Never contact them again. And if I don't? Then I release everything. Your fraud. Your debts. Your lies. And I make sure every person you know sees exactly who you are. The ex-husband laughed. Forced. Shaky. You think that scares me? I'll still fight for custody. Blood is blood. Blood means nothing when you are in prison. The line went dead. The ex-husband stood there. Phone still pressed to his ear. Heart pounding. He tried to convince himself it was a bluff. But deep down he knew. This man did not bluff. 2 days later, the ex-husband sat across from his lawyer. Expensive suit. Leather briefcase. Confidence bought by the hour. So you want to proceed with the custody case? The lawyer asked. The ex-husband hesitated. What are the chances we win? Strong. You're the biological father. You have resources. As long as there's no major skeletons in your closet. There are. The lawyer blinked. Excuse me? There are skeletons. Big ones. And someone has proof. The lawyer leaned back. How bad? Prison bad. Silence. The lawyer closed his briefcase. Then I strongly advise against pursuing this case. If they expose you during the trial, you lose everything. The ex-husband slammed his fist on the desk. So what? I just give up? Let some criminal raise my kids. Those kids are adults now. They can make their own choices. The lawyer stood. And if you push this, you'll lose more than just them. That night, the ex-husband sat alone in his apartment. Lights off. Bottle of whiskey half empty. His phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number again. He opened it. A single photo. Him. At a bank. 20 years ago. The day he abandoned his family. Below it, a caption. They will know what you did. They will see who you are. And they will never forgive you. He threw the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. But the message was clear. He could threaten all he wanted. He could scream about blood and rights and law. But the man who raised them had already won. Because he had something the ex-husband would never have. Loyalty. Respect. Love. And 20 years of sacrifice the ex-husband could never erase. The ex-husband poured another drink. Hands shaking. He knew it was over. But his pride wouldn't let him admit it. Not yet. Should we tell them now? The woman sat across from the man who raised them. Kitchen table. 2 cups of tea going cold. Neither of them drinking. He's going to tell them himself, she said. You know he will. The man stared at his hands. Scarred. Calloused. Hands that built empires and broke enemies. I know. Then we have to tell them first. Before he poisons their minds. He looked up. Pain in his eyes she'd never seen before. What if they hate me? They won't. What if they do? His voice cracked. Just slightly. What if they learn I am not their uncle? Not their blood. And they choose him because biology matters more than sacrifice. She reached across the table. Grabbed his hand. They love you. That will not change. You do not know that. Footsteps on the stairs. Both of them went silent. Sienna appeared first. Birthmark visible. Confident stride. Kira right behind her. Eyes sharp. Alert. We need to talk, Sienna said. The woman's heart stopped. About what? She asked. Voice shaking. Kira pulled out her phone. Showed them a message. From an unknown number. Ask your uncle who your real father is. Ask why he's been lying to you for 20 years. The man who raised them closed his eyes. Sit down, he said quietly. The twins sat. Faces unreadable. Waiting. The woman looked at him. He nodded. She took a breath. There's something we need to tell you. We're listening, Kira said. Arms crossed. The woman's hands trembled. Your father. The man who you think abandoned us, he's back. Sienna's eyes widened. What do you mean back? He wants to see you. He says he has rights. He says. Who is he? Kira interrupted. And why are you telling us this now? The man who raised them finally spoke. Voice steady. Strong. Because I am not your uncle. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. What? Sienna whispered. I'm not family. Not by blood. I found your mother in the hospital 20 years ago. After your biological father rejected you. Called you devils. Walked away. Tears formed in the woman's eyes. He left us with nothing. No money. No home. People mocked us. Took pictures of you. Laughed at you. And he saved us? Kira's voice was cold. Controlled. Yes, the woman said. He gave us everything. Protected us. Raised you. Loved you when no one else would. Sienna stood. Based. Hand over her mouth. So our entire lives have been a lie? No. The man who raised them stood too. Everything I did was real. Every sacrifice. Every sleepless night. Every threat I ended to keep you safe. That was real. But you're not our father, Sienna said. Voice breaking. No. He looked at them both. I'm not your father by blood. But I have been your father in every way that matters. Kira stood. Face unreadable. Where is he? She asked. Our biological father. Where is he now? He wants to meet you, the woman said. He says he's changed. That he deserves a chance. After 20 years? Sienna's voice rose. After calling us devils? After abandoning us? He says blood matters, the man who raised them said quietly. He says you deserve to know your real father. Kira and Sienna looked at each other. Some silent conversation passing between them. Then Kira turned to the man who raised them. Do you want us to meet him? He was quiet for a long moment. I want you to be happy. Even if that means choosing him over me. Sienna's face crumpled. Tears finally spilling. How could you think we'd choose him? Because he is your blood. Blood. Kira's voice shook with anger. He's nothing to us. He's a stranger. A coward. Sienna walked to the man who raised them. Looked up at him. You're our father. The only one that matters. His eyes glistened. He pulled them both into his arms. Held them tight. The woman cried. Relief. Joy. Fear. Because outside a car pulled up. And the biological father stepped out. War was here. The end. Of part 1. Will the twins face their biological father? What will they say? Will he destroy everything? Comment below and tell us what you think.